with the workshop. So it is what it is.
Cool. So you freaked out a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
freaked out a little bit. Still don't feel like I got like the answer, but I have something. So moving forward.
Cool. Cool, cool. All right, so so let's do this then. So I want to start off today by saying I recently watched a video from one of my friends, and it really uh, kind of like showed me how a lot of us feel entitled to things. Like we think like, oh, like air, water, and business, like that we are entitled to these type of things, and like really not. And he talked about how like his journey, like how he came to LA and he had like one suitcase, and then he had to like move in with a gay guy that he didn't know and sleep on his living room floor, and then he had to like then that guy almost died, and like all this story, like things that I couldn't even imagine, right? And all the stuff that he had to go through to like get to where he's at. And it made me realize how like we have so much, we have so much that that's good. Like we have so much available to us, right? And so as we're kind of like going through some of the challenges today, what I want you to think about is how much you actually fucking have, like in terms of like resources that you can get to that most people didn't have even a couple of years ago, right? Like you have everything at your disposal, and you're not, and then so on the one side you have like resources, right? Everything available to you. On the other side, like the enemy of kind of using those resources is feeling like you are entitled to them, right? Like entitled to like a business or like you're not entitled to a business. Like nobody's entitled to it. You have to work your fucking ass off for it. And there's going to be a lot of pain that comes with that. And so the way that you get through it is via the pain. It's not by trying to avoid the pain. It's not trying to like avoid getting those or avoid talking with people or avoid anything that's painful, right? It's just like just recently I started going back to the gym, and I'm like, oh shit, this is painful. I'm like, this is why I stopped going. And I'm like, okay, well, that's the only way that I can get strong. I have to go through the pain, right? It's not enjoyable. It's painful. So I just want you to keep that in mind as we go through, like, what are some of your challenges, and realize that the challenges that you have aren't even that real, right? They're not like real problems. Like real problems is like not having water or dying of malaria, right? These are real problems. Like the problems that you're going through, they might seem real, but they're not like real stresses. They're not real things. They're all just things that are, come up in your mind. So just keep that in mind as we're going through all the shit storms that you have going on or all the good things that you have going on. Fair?
Fair.
Fair. Okay, cool. All right. So, Lauren, you want to start? What have you done like this past week? What kind of rejections have you gotten? What kind of successes have you gotten? And what kind of challenges are you running into?
Um, well, I got my first no, but I really am not shocked by that one just because it was really a money thing for him. I mean, he had no money, and I offered
Mm-hmm.
to do like a free consult anyways, even though I know he can afford my services, but I just felt like I wanted to put it out there to him that
Yeah.
it's available to him, and I know that eventually he'll have some money to do it. So he'll be in touch. We'll keep talking. I think he was like a little overwhelmed. He makes like not a lot of money, so but I offered him, some free services. Um, and then let's see. I've just been doing some follow-ups with a couple of the leads I got through different people I had contacted on Facebook. So, like Friday, I have a meeting. Today I had a meeting that didn't really materialize into what I thought it would, but it materialized into something completely different. And I think my challenges are just still like figuring out how to connect to people to get them interested in what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know there's like Facebook, but I feel like not that I've tapped that, but I feel like tapped but I feel like I need to figure out ways to find people who are actually interested in something like that and would buy like a package from me. So I've talked to a couple of people, but I feel like I just need to expand my reach.
Okay. Cool. Scott, what's up, buddy? Welcome.
Hey, how we doing? Thank
Hey.
you. Hi guys. Hi Sarah and hi Lauren.
Hi.
Cool.
I love
So,
that at one point every person is drinking wine. Sarah was drinking wine last week. Guys drinking wine today.
oh shit. Damn it. Okay, next time I'm definitely drinking wine.
Well, if this meeting wasn't at 1
I
o'clock,
feel like the
I was
person
going
who
to say, it's 1 o'clock. I have too much to do to start now. Awesome.
if when you could drink wine at 1 p.m.
wouldn't be
In
productive.
Sky's time though, it's in the evening there now, right? It's like 9 p.m.
Yeah, 9:15, so I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, so Sky, let's start with. So, okay, Lauren. So I hear what you're saying. So, how to figure out connect with people, expand your reach, and get them interested, so that they're actually interested in buying.
Right, buying aspect of it.
Cool. So, Scott, what about you? What are some of the problems and challenges?
So
Or
I'm trying
good
to
things.
add
So just like
members.
recap of the week. What have you tried?
Okay, cool. So there's three things.
Mm-hmm.
One, I don't have enough people to talk to, so I'm trying to add members. I've been using the Facebook comment strategy that you showed me.
Yep.
And aiming to do 5 a day. I did 5 yesterday. I haven't really been around much today to do 5, but 10 tomorrow. So the goal is to have another 100 members by the end of November. So I figure 5 a day every day can get me there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm reading the book that you told me to read, and it's getting me excited to get on the phone with people, really, and actually try out that process. It's kind of changed how I think about selling and calls. So that's the other thing that I've been doing, and also I wrote the first 2 chapters of what will become my book, hopefully.
Cool. Cool. All right. Have you talked to any people since last time? Have you gotten any no's?
No, haven't spoke to anybody. I'm not really getting much response in the group more recently. So it's kind of like as soon as we switched into trying to sign people up or get them to take the next step beyond free content, the interaction and engagement seems to have dropped off a little.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, so I got some words on that. Okay, cool. Saren, what about you? What's gonna been the
So I'm working on the workshop stuff. That's really been a challenge because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm scared by it because it's a huge investment of time and money and all the above, and I don't really, So moving along with that, it's taken away a lot of time from, prospective clients. A number of people canceled last week, so I only had 1 breakthrough session, and we had a great session. And she didn't want to give me a yes or no. She's like, I really want to work with you, but I can't give you a yes or no on the phone right now. I wouldn't be, I just don't feel comfortable with that. Can we talk tomorrow? And I said, that's fine. And I was like, all I need tomorrow, I just want to get on the phone with you, give me a yes or no. I just want a yes or no.
Uh-huh.
And she didn't pick up the phone, and she ended up sending me a Facebook message a day later, and it was completely, it was good proof of you get a yes or no right when you're on the phone after the session. Because I couldn't even get her objections. We worked on a lot of the objections around cost, and she's like, but still I can't give you a yes or no. She saw the value, she saw the cost, she saw the problem, all that stuff. she wouldn't. So yeah, that was that. So I'm a little stressed about, you know, I haven't gotten a client in a while. So I'm upping my breakthrough sessions. I'm trying to get 5 per week for the next couple weeks, and I have 4 already scheduled this week. Yeah, and I'm working on my book. I'm hoping to have it done in the next few weeks, like fully edited and printed, so I can have it ready for my workshop December 2nd. And I've included that in the ticket prices, early bird pricing, and yeah, so
Okay.
that's going on.
Okay. So you cut out a little bit on the when she said let's talk tomorrow. What did you say that was reinforcing?
That's
What is
reinforcing. You get a yes or no on the phone right when you finish the breakthrough session. You don't give them a 24 hours to think about it.
Yeah. Nobody listens on that. And it's nobody listens on that. And it's not like so I want to talk to that because the reason why I tell you to do that, right, is not because just like one day I woke up and I was like, maybe you should just get a yes or no. No, I didn't get that just like on an epiphany. It's like I wasn't like meditating on it. It was just like a lot of experience to just show me that just is not a strategy that works. It's not an effective strategy.
I've had 50-50 though. Like I've had some clients who, you know, I personally, the thought of dropping $2,000, like, didn't get on the phone thinking that I would spend $10 and then I dropped $2,000. Like, oh, like that. So to ask somebody that, okay, like I kind of get that's a lot. And I've done it with some clients who go with the whole I can't afford it thing, and then you get them on the phone again and they're ready to say that again, and I can argue with them a little more. They've had more time to think about it. So 2 clients that I have right now, we waited a day and they still decided to work with me.
Cool. So do what works, right? If that works, then do it.
Well, sometimes it doesn't, like with this time. So it's 50-50.
Okay, cool. So the only reason why people don't move is because there's something blocking them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a thought, it's something. It's a worry, it's a thought. That's all it is. It's just a thought. So you have to know what that thought is. If they say, I can't make a decision right now, like, why?
Money.
Like, why not? Like, I mean, maybe not say why, but like, understand. You have to understand their thinking process. When Sky, when we first had our conversation, you actually told me something like that too. Like, he was like, there's a lot of things going on, right? And I had to like drill down into each one until we could just like expose the BS, right? And then that's when people move. So yeah. So as long as you have a process that works, you have to stick with that process. If your process is, look, I expect people to make a decision, you could let them know that in the beginning so that it's fair, so they don't feel like, oh, whoa, you're trying to get me to make a decision. Like, no, dude, I told you in the beginning we're gonna make a decision. That's fair game, right? So.
Okay, I have a question about that.
Sure.
So in the script, well, there's a couple objections I have with that. You say in the script, I'm not going to try to sell you anything, and I think I added, sell you anything you don't need. But you say I'm not going to try to sell you or pitch you anything.
I actually say I'm not going to sell you anything you don't need.
Okay. Okay. That's cool then.
Yeah.
And then also when I approach people about breakthrough sessions, and I use Daniela's, little email about how I'd love to talk to you because I'm refining my program and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't present them like, hey, I want to see if I can help you so I can possibly sell you something. You know, it's like, let's get on the phone, talk. I mean, some of these people get on the phone, they're like, I didn't know you were going to offer this. I thought I was just going to talk to you to try to help you refine your program and validate your stuff.
Okay.
So if I started out those calls like, I need a yes or no when I try to sell you something.
Okay, so what's the question there?
Well, I just don't know if saying the yes or no thing would scare people off right away and put them on the defensive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's all about context,
Right.
right? So human beings are a weird bunch. Let me give you an example. Okay. If they did this study on monkeys where they like gave them like 2 apples, they took 1 away. The monkeys were mad. Then they gave them a study where they just gave them 1 apple. Monkeys were happy. The end. If you look at it objectively, at the end, what does the monkey have? Well, in both cases, they have 1 apple.
Right.
Okay, so how come one is angry and one is happy? Right? So it's why? It's context. So if the context is set up that you're just trying to ask them questions and you're trying to understand them and then see if you could create a program later, like the script in Module 3, then that's cool. That's fine. Don't ask for the sale in that case. Right?
Yeah.
If the context is, hey, I'm creating a program, I'm looking for the right fit, I'm looking to see if I can help you with this, and see if it might be a fit for you, then there's that context is like, yeah, if it's a fit for you, so on and so forth. And then the last thing I'll tell you is that I feel a lot of times what people try to do in sales is they try to drag people over the finish line here, right? So if this is the sale line, and this is the salesperson, you, and this is them, there's like a rope, and you're just trying to drag them over, right? I'm not sure that that's the best way. I think a really good way is for them to like want to step over themselves, and you just give them the tools, and you say, look, here's the tools that I got. You know, like where do you want to go from here? That's a question you might want to integrate into your sales process. Where would you like to go from here?
Okay.
Right. So just get clear on like what your process is, what your context is, and then don't deviate from that process. Once you've established that's your process, test it and see if it's working with enough people. And if it is, stick to that. So my process is I talk with people 1 time. They have a decision to make. They make that decision. That's it. And then that's it. I don't really chase people. That's it. But there's different schools of thought. There's some people that there's one school of people that want to like I'm gonna call you until you buy, right? That works too. We just got to figure out like what's your position. Like what position are you gonna take? You could take one or the other. You can't take both though. Cool. Let me ask you this, and then we'll go into some other challenges with Sky and Lauren. What's the number one thing? So you got a couple of things. You got like a book, right? And you see how in a workshop, and you see how the time. You said like a lot of times being going to the workshop, and that's taken away time from your calls, right? Which is the thing that has proved to work before, right?
You mean calls work before?
Strategy, breakthrough sessions,
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
So where is your focus right now? What are you focusing in on?
Finding the right copy. Well, not anymore, but the past few days I've been focusing on copy.
Okay. Copy for what? The workshop?
Workshop.
So what is the workshop going to lead to? What do you think it's going to lead to?
More sales, creating a community, getting more people in the Facebook group, getting more people following the Glow Effect on various social media, people reading my book, sales from the book, so sales for my program and sales for the book.
Okay.
And experience. running a workshop.
Yeah. I mean, experience is the best teacher, right? So if you don't know how to run a workshop, and shit, you'll learn how to run a workshop, right? Preferably with somebody who runs workshops.
Well, I've done stuff before, but they haven't been successful, and that's part of the reason I hired you. So that was the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay. So you've done them before, and they haven't been successful.
Right.
So if you're going to do a workshop, you should find somebody who's running workshops already successfully.
Well, I thought I did. You've run successful workshops.
Yeah, I've run successful workshops, of course.
Well, I feel like I found someone.
Okay. So your workshop, where you got a couple of things, right? You're making sales, right? And you're trying to put on a workshop, and you're trying to write a book, and you're trying to write.
The book's written. It's just, I mean, it's editing. I'm editing. Yeah.
Okay, but you're trying to sell the book.
No, I'm just trying to complete the book at the moment, not selling it.
But what's the goal?
Well, then I'll be selling the book at the workshop, but at the moment.
Okay. What's the number one thing? Okay, this is something I want everybody on this call to think about. What's the number one thing that you're trying to do? There's only like one metric. If there could be only one metric that you could keep track of, what would that metric be? And you don't have to answer this, okay, because you might not know. But think about that question. If I could only think about one metric, one number to keep track of in my business, what would that number be? What would I be keeping track of? Okay. Think about that question. It's an important question. It's not easy to answer right away. Cool. As a kind of like an example, a lot of times what people measure is like hits on their website, right? Or hits on their website, or leads, or opt-ins, or sales, or people you've talked to, okay? Or I actually think an important metric might be people that have told you no. Right? How many people have told you no? That could be an important metric in your business, because if you tell me you haven't gotten enough sales, I could ask you just one question, and this is the question I used to ask with salespeople. And I would say, I'd look at the numbers. I'd be like, okay, John did this, Bob did this, and this is the top performer, and he's got 80% of the sales, and here's the bottom performers. Okay, so I would say, that's interesting. How come this guy has all these sales and these other guys don't? Right? And I would just ask them, like, how many no's have you gotten? And the no's would always be not enough. Like, they haven't gotten that many, and that's why they didn't have sales. The top performer had the most no's. Right? It's not a surprise. So think about that number. And there's only one metric. Cool. All right, so Sky, so right now you've got, so the problem is, and this is, I ran into, hold on one second. Sorry, dogs are out of control, per usual. Okay, so Sky, the challenge was that what you think happened, right, is that once you started mentioning like some kind of pay thing, the interaction has dried up, right?
Yeah, in the group. So the examples were the referral training,
Yeah.
introducing your sales podcast. I think there was one other, which was asking them some questions. I think I did too many in the one post.
Yeah.
But those three things for me were things that were designed to move them towards what could become a conversation where I could get a no.
Yeah.
And it's just dried up. Like, I'm not getting responses on those. But when I put a picture up of a quote, I get all the responses and all the likes. So a little bit confused why that is at the moment.
Okay, cool. So I can clear that up for you right now. You don't have enough people.
Right.
It's nothing else. So like in Sean's group, maybe I could show you. There's like 200 people, right?
Right.
So this, I wish he was on here, but there's 200 people and he's got like 12 sales of his pre-sale thing, right? So if you look at that, 200, 10% of 200 would be 20, so it's 5%, right? So you don't have enough people. That's just the bottom line. It's not like they don't like you. It's not that they don't want to buy. Some of them, maybe there's not enough of them that want to buy, right? But it's just a strictly numbers game. There's just not enough people. 20 people isn't a number that's like enough to support the community, right? It's got to be 50, 100, 200. You know, like his group right now. Like one thing that he recently I told him to do that he wasn't doing was he had like 5 sales, right? And I said I don't understand why you don't have the sales thread at the top of the group. I'm like, that baffles me. Like, that's beyond me, because that's what you're there for. It should be clear. Like, this is going back to the context, right? If you're selling something, people are okay with you selling something. They have no problem with that. It's just like go back to the monkey experiment, right? Like, if somebody gives you 2 apples, takes 1 away, you're like, shit, I had 2, now I have 1. It's a shit show. Gives you 1, you're like, oh my god, 1, an apple, fantastic. This is so great, right? So it's all about context. So in your group, if you're creating a group to sell, I would say that 1, you need to get more members, and I showed you exactly where to find them, right? So if you don't have the time, then develop a process, right? If you don't have the time, develop a process. What does that look like? That looks like you creating a video and saying, okay, here's what I want you to do, right? Like, I have these pages right here, these people. You use Camtasia or ScreenFlow or the free version of Camtasia. I forget what it's called. But just Jing, thank you. Right? You get Jing, or you could just do a Google Hangout like this, and you say, okay, so I would say it like this, like, hi, this is Sky. Thank you so much for applying for the job. Here's what I would like for you to do. There's 4 steps in this process. I'm going to break down exactly the 4 steps, and I'll show you exactly what message to send people, how to find people, and how many people I would like for you to add every day, and how to keep track of this using the Google spreadsheet that I'm going to show you here in a second. All right, so I'm telling them what I'm going to tell them. And I'll be like, okay, cool. So here's the pages that I want you to look for. Here's the people. Here's the message that I want you to send them. This is just copy paste it from this document. And then every day, I want you to just fill out this form. And this form has how many people you contacted, how many responded back, and how many people you added to the group. Just 3 questions I want you to answer every day for me.
Can you just run me through the 3 questions again?
How many people you how many people you messaged?
Yeah.
How many responded? And how many people did you add to the group? Okay. Okay. Now we could even boil that down to something simpler, right? So let's use the one metric model, right? Which one of those? Let me ask you. Which one of those metrics is the one you want to keep track of?
How many added to the group?
Yeah. Right. How many were added to the group?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if it's not those three, it's just one. How many were added to the group? So every day, your job, right? If you don't do it, develop a process that can help you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you hire that one person, and then they watch the training video, and then there's a feedback loop, which is the form every day. This is important. Every day they need to complete the form. Why? Why every day? Because then you could see what the pattern is. You could say, okay, every day on average they're adding 3 people. Cool. So then the next person I add should also do 3 or more.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So yesterday, for example, I sent 68 messages.
Yeah.
And I got 5 people join the group, which was 7%, right?
Yeah.
So for me to then get 100 people, when I did the math on that, it was like 1,400 messages. So that tells me maybe the message or the approach isn't sticky enough, or it's not resonating. So the approach that I went with was kind of casual, which was I've set up a private group for life coaches. It's invite only. I think you could be a good fit. If you're interested in joining, here's the link. And that got the 5, but I'm sure there's a way I can present it in a more compelling way to increase that. Do you have any ideas for?
Obviously, yeah, of course, right. So, what's the Lauren, like? Okay, let's hear this message again, right? And then let's see if we could identify. By the way, this applies to everybody here, right? The messages you send, right? The communication that you send. It could look like a 7% message, or it could look like a 50% message, right? In other words, with the right wording, 50 people might respond. With the wrong wording, 1% might respond. The wording makes a difference. What you say makes a difference, right?
Right.
So let's hear the message.
Okay. And just to say, I'm asking because I outsource it, but I want to get the message right, before I do that.
That's right. And that's very, very important. I want to just highlight this before you read it. You're right. You want to get the message down first manually before you start to make a process out of it. So you don't want to processize something that's not working correctly yet. You want to make it work correct, then process, then automate. Cool. All right, so what's the message?
Okay, so the message was, I have a Facebook group you might be interested in, which is full of life coaches who share what's working for them, and they help each other grow their practices. There's no self-promotion or pitching in the group, just collaboration between coaches at different stages. And then in brackets, some still training, whilst others have $1 million plus practices in different countries. I'm trying to build the community, and I think you'd be a good fit. It's invite only, which is why I'm reaching out to you today. If you'd like to join, the link is below. Thanks, and have an awesome week.
Okay, cool. So, Saren, when you read that, what's your response?
Copy and paste it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, what else?
I put their name in the top, but that's the only customization.
Right. I felt no personal connection.
Okay.
Like I am just another person that you're contacting because you have a number of people that you need to fill, your contacts. I didn't get a sense of how you found me, or why me. What's my incentive? I don't really get it. Value. Yeah.
That's the question I got asked by 3 people who responded. How did you find me? Exactly that. So I didn't want to say, I found you on this other coach's page. Maybe that's wrong, not wanting to say that, but that's what I felt at the time.
Okay. So, okay, good, Saren. Thank you. So, Lauren, if you got a message like that? What's the natural reaction?
I would probably ask, where did you find me? What like what kind of group is this? Like what what's I feel like I would kind of ask like more about like what's a little bit more about the purpose of joining it.
Cool. What else?
Like I don't know. Definitely, where did you find me? What's the purpose? I probably wouldn't say what's the benefit, but like I would probably be thinking like, why would I do this? Like, why is this gonna benefit me?
I think I'm coming across like a stalker on Facebook, maybe, right?
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing, right? Okay. So I saw this video online of it's a guy asks 200 girls to have sex with him. You can YouTube this. Okay. So he just comes up to girls like, "Hi, what's your name? Would you like to have sex with me?" Okay. So
How did that go for him?
I think he got 1 out of 200 or 2 out of 200 to say yes.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's a pretty shitty ratio.
That's a terrible ratio, but I'm surprised he even got one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, even a clock is wrong twice or once, whatever that is. But the point is that approach, right, doesn't work. Now, if he says something else, right, I'm sure we can increase that conversion ratio, right? It's like, "Hi, how are you? Where are you from? Oh, da 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 da. Okay." "Oh, me too. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, I'm gonna have, coffee. Do you like coffee? Yeah. Okay, cool." Yeah.
Ask questions.
I don't know, like make statements. "Oh yeah, it's a cool day today. Yeah. Okay. Yeah." So, anyways, so like that, right, might work like a little bit better than just like, "Oh hi, come sex with me," because there's like there's points in the interaction that need to come before that. So point is, it's the same thing. It's like the exact same thing, right? You need to, when you message someone, they're wondering, okay, one, who are you? How did you find me? What's the purpose of this? Right? And what's the benefit for me? Like, what's in it for me? This is the most important one, I think. WIIFM. That's the radio station that everyone's tuned into. The call sign WIIFM stands for what's in it for me. So you need to be, when you're talking with people, you need to be broadcasting on that signal, on that wavelength, on the WIIFM radio wavelength there. And everything that you say should be about like what's in it for them. Okay, now in the first message, that's a lot. That's kind of like, again, back to the dating example. It's like, "Oh, okay, well, listen, you should come home with me because, I got a good job, I got a car, I like my mom, I have a good relationship with my family, I have a lot of friends, yeah, so you should do that, because we'll have a great time," right? So it's like, okay, well, that's not convincing either. Like, that won't work either, although it logically makes sense, right? So, point is, start with the benefit that they're going to get from this group. Like, what is the benefit? And you actually mentioned something that's the opposite of a benefit, which is like there's no self-promotion or anything like that. So, like, all I'm thinking about as a coach, right, is, well, actually, like, okay, Sarah, let me ask you. Like, every day you wake up, right? You wake up, what do you start thinking? Run me through your thoughts.
A little personal, Gary.
Okay.
I haven't had my wine yet. What do I think of in the morning? First thing I think of is to look at my phone and to check social media and my email, like, oh shit, what did I miss?
Okay.
And what do I need to catch up with? What am I going to do today? What's the first thing that I need to do? Yeah, it's all about me.
Surprise. Right? But as it relates to your business, like, what do you worry about?
What do I worry about? I just worry that I'm.
Okay, here. Let me start because this is a personal question. Let me start with me, okay? Just to give you an example. Okay. So let's say I wake up. Like, let's pick an area of like, let's say relationships, right? So what I worry about. So you guys ask me like, what do I think about, right? But what I worry about, right, is a little more powerful. So like, I mean, think about like, oh, I'll probably go out with this girl on a date. Probably go talk to some more girls to get more dates. Maybe get an online profile, maybe take some pictures, but then the online thing, that's annoying. Okay. They're like, oh, I should go out with, oh, I should talk with my friends. Like, oh, no, that's weird. Okay, no, I'll just go talk to some girls. Okay, no, I should go out more. I should go out more. Okay, so that's what I think about. So then, what do I worry about? Would be like, oh, okay, well, let's see, I'm 33. So I should probably like think about like getting into a relationship at some point, right? And just stop having sex with just like the random girls, right? So, okay, right? So, but that's still not a worry. That's like what I worry about. Is like what I worry about is like, oh, okay, I'll be like I have a friend. He's like 45 and he's super successful, but he doesn't have a girlfriend, and I don't know what he's doing with his life. But like that, he has like one part of his life is successful, the other part I'm like shit show. So I'm like, oh, I don't want what I worry about is like, oh my God, I don't want my life to be like him. I don't want to be like 45 and then I'm still like chasing girls, you know? So you see how it took all that to get down to the worry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shit, I don't want to be like 45 and still like single and like dating 25-year-olds,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
But it gets even deeper than that. I could go deeper. I could say, oh, well, shit. Well, if I keep going like that, shit, I'll die alone. Nobody wants to die alone. I don't want to die alone, right? I want to be someone with me. Okay, I want someone with me. So, you see how that applies to whatever area of business you're trying to like reach. The same process. There was a guy in Sky's group who posted something like, "Oh, I tried coaching people." I'm just gonna say it like the way I think he would write it. Like it's like, "Oh my God, I tried coaching people, it didn't work out. I had to go back and get a job." Whatever he wrote. Like Sky, you remember that?
Yeah, I fired him this week. That's the guy.
Oh, you fired him? How?
Because he bought my coaching product, the magazine.
See, that's an example. I see, like, this is the difference, right? Like, I saw that guy, I was like, right away, that guy is a loser. He needs to be deleted, right? It's just like, it was so obvious, right? So obvious. So he was like, basically, where I was going with this is, he said, well, I tried coaching, and it didn't work out, and then he went and he got a job, basically. He got like a 9 to 5. And his reason was, what? What was his reasoning?
It doesn't work. I've tried it and it doesn't work. Simple as that.
I tried it and it doesn't work. Really, dude? Really? Okay? It's like, I try talking to a girl and it doesn't work. Talking to girls doesn't work, Gary. Okay, I understand. You're right. It doesn't work. You're right. It doesn't work. You should stop doing that. Okay. Bye. So, point is, like, that the worst fear for a coach, where I'm heading with this, is like, worst for a coach is like, okay, like I tried this coaching thing, it didn't work out, and I went and get back to a job. Right? That might be a fear. Right? So now that I've said mine, Saren, if you want, share yours.
So I guess without doing the whole like circular thing, what comes to mind is I'm really scared of never creating a consistent income. So like I'm hustling all the time and perhaps I'll never get enough clients and I'm going to be, I'm going to just be poor and the clients are going to stop wanting to work with me and I'm going to have to go back to my 9 to 5 and my business is going to fail.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems about right. right? Now, here's an interesting thing about this, right? Most people can't even articulate it. Like, they're so afraid of that fear, they can't even, like, bring themselves to say those words. That's how much they fear that, right?
Yeah, that's not my problem.
Okay, good. So, where do we start this conversation? I forgot now.
Getting to the
Crafting.
benefit and what worries people.
Yeah, getting to the benefit, right? So, how do we get into what worries people?
Will address something Sky's message.
Mm.
Because he
Yeah.
doesn't let self-promotion happen. He says he doesn't let self-promotion happen.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's like like all you're trying to do. That's what. Thank you, thanks, Lauren.
You're welcome.
About you. Yeah, like all they're thinking is like, how can I promote myself more? And you actually said like no self-promotion. Like the minute you said that, I was just like done. like, like I don't get to promote myself. Like if that's it's a non-benefit.
So I have a question at this point then. So in the group, you told me be careful with people putting things in there that are not about coaching or their coaching business.
Yes.
Delete some of their posts and police that. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm struggling to find the balance between what can they put in there to promote themselves and what can they not. I think I'm not clear on that at this stage.
Yeah. A big thing, right? So again, back to context and rules. People need rules. If people don't have rules, they're lost. They're not sure what to do. Okay, so people need rules to follow. That's why rules exist, right? It's to keep everybody kind of like at the same wavelength in some level, right? So one thing you could do is you could set, now what do rules come from? They come from values, really. Like what do you value? And then you base those rules around the values. I actually had one lady, this was a while ago, she actually sent me an email before she signed up to work with me. She said, like, what are your values? I thought, well, shit, that's a great question. And then
I asked you that.
okay, maybe, yeah, you asked me that too. But she wrote me like in an email, and then it forced me to like sit down and like type them up. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like here they are. And she was like, oh, that's great. I like that. I'm like, okay, cool. So, so if you start with like, what are your values, and then what are the rules in the group, then people won't break them. Because you're like, dude, I gave you the rules. Like I said, like no self-promotion except on Wednesday. You self-promoted on Tuesday. That's why we deleted your ass. It's like, those are the rules. If you don't like them, don't be in the group. But if there's no rules, they don't know what to do. They'll post images of like, quotes, motivational quotes, or some people like motivational quotes. So why not? Why not post it in the group? What's that? Sharon, what'd you say?
I love those.
Yeah, women especially love motivational quotes. Like
Don't be sexist.
the pictures. I can't help it. That's what I am.
That's not true. I know guys who do.
I post motivational quotes. I think on some women's profile there's like a lot of quotes. So it's just like tons
You
of
see
quotes.
my Instagram?
Yeah. Are you one of those people? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah. Don't knock it till you try it.
Okay. So,
Okay.
So get clear on your rules.
So the rules I've got currently is that it's about collaboration, which is one of the values, like the coaches kind of helping each other, talking to each other. But the two that you just mentioned was no self-promotion,
Yeah.
but we do promotion Wednesday post,
Yeah.
where you can put your website link, etc. And then I think the third rule currently is no quote posts, because a lot of the coaching groups I went to, it's just one after another, and there's no engagement or discussion really.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense. Cool.
So are we saying then people can promote but just on Wednesdays?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like this, right? Okay, I look at it like this. Does it, I run it through a filter, right? Like, what would be the filter questions? If everybody did this, would there be benefit to the group? Like that seems like a good question to ask, right? If everybody did this, would there be a benefit to the group? So if everybody self-promoted, would there be a benefit to it? No, right? Because there's some groups that are like 10,000 people. It's just like people just promoting. There's no value.
Right. Right. Okay.
So create those filter questions. Like that's one. Another one would be like, what's the value? Is there value to the group from this? Is it just value to the person, or is there value to the group?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm struggling to figure out what that value is because I don't have a program or anything yet. So the only thing that seems to get good feedback is the accountability, like on a Monday, give me your goal, on the Friday, check in, how did you do, kind of post.
Yeah, I'll tell you the problem here. Okay, so what you're doing right now, it's a positioning problem.
Okay.
Okay, so Saren, when you give a workshop, right, as an example, one of the questions, one of the things that you need to answer very, very early when you're talking with anybody is, who the fuck are you, and why should anybody in their right mind listen to you? Okay? Now, if you don't answer those two questions, you're screwed, because nobody will listen, even if it's the best information in the world. If you haven't answered those two, they're just like, oh, what's on my Facebook? Like, what's on Instagram? They need to know.
That's something I do know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Right.
they need to know that. So in the group, right, Sky, they need to know. They need to know about you. They need to know. Maybe there's a video of you at the top, right? Welcoming to the group. Like they need to know. Like people are very primal. Right? They're primal. What does that mean? That means they understand status relative to somebody else's status. So even if you're like the smartest, most highbrow person in the world, you're constantly just trying to put people into a hierarchy. Who's here? Who's here? Who's here? Who should I listen to? This person's here? No, I don't listen to it. This person's here? Oh, cool. They've been on TV? Yes, I'll listen to them. Okay, they have a book? Yes, I'll listen to them. Right? Right or wrong, like that's the way it is.
Yeah.
So if they need to perceive you as a higher status than where they're at, even if it means
Right.
just a little bit higher status, right? That's the first thing.
Okay.
So they can't see you, that you can't be on exactly their level, because why would they learn from you?
Exactly.
You wouldn't do that. You'd be like, oh, you know just as much as I do. Why should I buy your book?
Right. So I think the marketing side of things I can help them with because that's something they all struggle with, and that's something that I can do, like the strategy piece.
Yeah.
But I guess I haven't figured out that it comes down to understanding my value, I think.
Yeah.
And then how much of that do you share in the group? So you're positioned as the expert, and how much do you save for the calls?
I think the main thing you got to start with is you got something to offer, and you're in business. I think that's important for people to know. Like with Sean's group, like he's got like 200 people, right? He's got 12 pre-sales now, and the way that he got to that is he kind of did exactly the same thing you did, with a little bit of a difference. One, more people, and two, he started, and this is something I told him to do, was like, dude, you need to sell something. You need to get on the path to selling something, right? You can't just, what's the opposite of that? The opposite of that is you create a group and it's just free information. Just free information. There's a real big problem with that because once you introduce paid, then it's like, wait, I thought this was a free group.
Right.
What are you trying to pull something on me? I know this is a free group. Now you're trying to do a pay thing. I don't know about you, dude. I like the free stuff, but this pay thing, man, come on. Like that would be the language that's going on inside their head. But if you start out with the pay thing, like you start off with your position to sell, hey, what's your biggest challenges? Hey, I'm thinking about creating a thing. I'm thinking about creating a donation-based thing. If I did that, what would you want? Right away, the context is I'm thinking about creating something. There's going to be some money exchanged. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the money is. But I'm setting up the context. There's going to be a thing. There's going to be some money. There's going to be some value. That's the context. Not, hey, I'm creating a free group. There's going to be a bunch of free people. I'm very selective about who I chose. That's why I contacted you, a random person on the internet.
There's a disconnect.
Right? Now, I'm saying this, I'm laughing because I've done this, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, I was trying to figure this out too. Like, what the hell do I send these people? Okay? So, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess I just need to figure out like what is that valuable thing that is going to motivate them to join the group, because the problem's numbers, but I'm not clear on what that value is. So I think the action for me is to go away and think about that
No.
and figure out what it is.
No, don't do that. No, it's a value. What you're trying to figure out is value. What is the value? The way you figure out value is not by going inside. This is counterintuitive. It's not by going inside. People will tell you what their problems are if you just ask. If you just ask. Right? If I had no money and I wanted to just make some money, I could go down to the neighbors. I could walk around my neighborhood and put up a sign that says, I'm willing to do work for $20. Here's a blank thing. I would like to earn your $20. What could I do for you where you would pay me $20? I'd go around the neighborhood and put that thing, and I bet you somebody would write, hey, in my backyard there's some apples, because of my apple thing. Pick up my apples. I'll pay you $20. Cool. I'll pick up your apples.
I have to go. I have a prospective client at 2:15.
Cool, Sarah. No problem.
Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Lauren, is this making sense to you? Is this helping you in any way?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm still looking to broaden my group. I don't have a group. I have no group.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I still need to expand my reach and to figure out how to best do that.
Okay, cool. So we'll get to you in a second here. Okay, so Sky.
I also have to go in like a couple minutes.
Okay, cool. Then we'll get to you now.
Sorry.
So no worries. So Lauren, what you're trying to figure out is like you're at the step where you're trying to figure out also what is your value, right? What is it that you do for people that's valuable? So far, what have you determined is the value?
Well, it seems like from the people that I've talked to, some of them have struggled with their style and some of them don't, but the value that I bring to the table is that I help them create their style to feel better about what they're doing, where they're going, if they're going on a date, into the boardroom, into a meeting, whatever. It's creating their style to help kind of improve and better their lives.
Okay. So, do you know for sure that the people that paid you money go into a boardroom?
No. I mean, but like it's not just a boardroom.
Hold on. Just follow my path here.
Okay.
No, right?
Right.
Okay. So, start with I don't know. Start with I don't know. Not start with they're going into the boardroom. Start with I don't know.
Okay.
And like have that in your mind. I don't know what they want this for. Now when you talk with people, don't focus on giving them advice. Okay? Focus on trying to understand, why do they want this? What's in it for them? Why? They want more clothes. Why? Why? They want to go on dates. Why do they want to go on dates? What's the end goal? The end.
Okay.
And what you're doing right now, the mistake you're making, is you're talking about what you do. You're talking about the steps.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Right.
They want the end. So don't talk to them about the steps. Talk to them about the end. In order to talk to them about the end, you got to know, what is the end?
Okay.
If I asked you right now, what's the end? Do you know?
I mean, it's making their closet and their style easy. It's simple and something
That's
that
not
they
the end. That's not the end.
Yeah, then that's not the end. I don't know.
Okay. I'll give you a
What's an
clue.
example? Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what's an example of the end? Like, what is an end in your? What do you think an end looks like?
In your context or in any context?
No, in mine.
In your context, again, I don't know, but I can guess. Okay.
Okay.
But I would definitely test this guess too. What I would say is, okay, as the guy, right? What do I not want to do? I don't want to go shopping, and I don't want to wear weird clothes, and I don't want to wear clothes that make me feel uncomfortable. But I do want to look good. So why do I want to look good? Girls, obviously. Like, what other reason would there be? Okay, I want to look good for women, and when I look good for women, when I get the attention of women, I also get the attention of men. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So the end goal would be like, oh, okay. One, how would I feel? I would feel more confident. But even that is not an end. That's a beginning. What would confidence give me? What would confidence give me? Confidence would give me the feeling, like feeling good. Feeling good. What would feeling good give me? Feeling good would give me the ability to talk to any girl that I like. To approach.
Mm-hmm.
It would be ability to approach a stranger. See, I'm going deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to a stranger. Have people notice me. Get people's attention. Ego. It's an ego thing.
Okay.
So, do you follow the path of reasoning?
Yeah. So the end is to get confidence, to talk to girls, to have people notice you, right?
This is the assumption. This is the
Right.
assumption.
This is your guess of your end.
This is my guess. But you got to ask them, and you got to, like, this is where the interviews are powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to get down to, like, in that script in Module 3 where they rank the problem, have them rank which one is the thing. Like, why do they want clothes? I don't understand. Like, I would actually go into it, like, why do you want these clothes? Like, why do you want a shopper? Like, what's the problem? Just be an open mind. And the more of those you do, then the closer you are. Like, eventually you're going to have copy, right? So Saren's at the point where she's trying to figure out copy. The reason why she can't figure out copy is because she's trying to work on copy, and she's not focused on solving the problem.
Right.
She doesn't know in full detail what is the problem and what's the end goal.
Okay. So I've approached a lot of people on Facebook. I mean, not a lot,
Yeah.
and I feel like I haven't gotten the response that I want. So I started with the stylist in LA, and now I'm kind of feeling like, what's the next place to look for people to have a conversation with?
Right.
And I'm just like not sure what that looks like.
Okay. What have you tried?
Um, well, I've looked on a couple of the different, like LA, but they're like LA things. Where did I look the other day? Uh, I'm totally blanking on where I looked, but it was like LA based. What am I looking at? I can't remember. It's LA based something. I can't remember where I was looking the other day.
Okay. Okay. No worries. So you looked there, and then what? What did you do?
Um, I guess I just didn't feel like the people that were there were like a lot of people commenting. I think when I first started, there wasn't when I was looking for people to talk to, I wasn't finding a lot of people who were commenting um, and talking online. So, and the people that I did find on the stylist page never really even used them. Like, they haven't used their services. So I was talking to people. I've talked to a couple of people who are like, "Oh yeah, she's just a friend of mine." I'm like, "Okay, well, okay." So I like still try to have the conversation, but it's like doesn't really help, you know? So I'm not finding people who this service really would benefit.
Okay. Um,
And talking to somebody's friend of a stylist like is really not helpful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so on Yelp, right, when you go to see the people who have reviewed working for a stylist,
And I've tried to reach out to a lot of those people, and most of them have not responded back to me.
okay, tell me what those people also buy that's related.
When I was looking, I have my notes downstairs, but they were all really into like mostly like food, restaurants.
Okay.
Um, a couple of people had reviewed like spas.
Okay.
A lot of them hadn't reviewed a lot of different things. Like they had like one or two reviews. They weren't like avid Yelpers.
Let's give this a shot here.
Okay, I have to go.
Oh, you have to go. Okay, fine. But the main thing that I will tell you that you're not doing enough is uh, you're not looking. It's like you're saying, okay, well, they just reviewed this one thing. Not like, no fucking way. I don't believe that. If it's just a small percentage of the people you looked at, right? If a
Hmm.
person is reviewed a shopper, they've also reviewed other things, right? So
Right.
even if not in LA, if you just look at any area, there's a like a circle of things that are related. You have to know what those things are, and then you could put your message in front of those people. But right now, you don't know what all of them are. So your big assignment, figure out what's the related thing. There's like 3, 4, 5 things that are very, very related. When I get my beard trimmed, I also get a haircut, and I get it at a different place. You know,
Okay. So
when I
then you're
go,
if like one person's reviewing a restaurant, you go there. Like I'm confused. Like I don't get it.
not restaurants. The
Or
restaurants aren't related.
right, but a lot. Okay, I'll go back to my notes, but a lot of them didn't have like
You
their
look for
spa.
more.
Okay.
On the next conversation, okay, I'm going to ask you what are the other things that they're related. If you say they didn't have the other things, you didn't do enough research, I promise you.
Okay.
So can you do that? And even before that, you could just email it. Actually, post it in the group. Post it in
Okay.
the group. That's your one assignment. I'll let you go.
Okay. Bye.
Cool. All right, bye. Cool. All right, Sky. So let's see. What other things could we say? Yeah, the main problem is like not enough people. That's just the number one thing. Like everything else is secondary. Wonder if I could show you uh, Sean's group here. That'd be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got access to the group, so I see it pretty regularly.
Oh, in Sean's group?
Yeah, yeah.
What's it called? Salon. Okay. Wow. Now it's at, see, now it's like growing. Like once you get past like a little threshold, it starts to grow by itself. Okay, so check this out. Okay, so right, so he's welcoming new people. What's it? November, like 2 people today, right?
Yeah.
What is he offering, right? He's offering, do you want me to personally review your website? Website review application form here.
Yeah. I actually did that for 3 people. That's how I got 3 of them into my group.
Now let's see what he writes here. Every month I do a live webinar with the salon owners inner circle members. See, this is what I'm talking about here. Right? What does that tell you right there in that first line?
The inner circle piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's positioning him as the authority.
Yeah. So it's like every month, like, okay, let's say we're new to this, right? Every month I do, like, and we're just reading this. Every month I do a live webinar with salon owner inner circle members. The question we have in our mind is what?
Who are those people? How do I become one?
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. So live webinar, interesting. Salon owner inner circle members, what is that?
Yeah.
Every webinar is focused, and then he answers it. You see, every webinar is focused on helping you all to grow your business as fast as possible. That's not the best line here, but something I noticed in the salon industry is poorly designed websites. So to help you with this, in December, I'm going to do a website review session for a few of you. This will involve going through your website, showing you where the weaknesses are, how you can improve, blah, blah, blah. If you'd like me to review your website, yada, yada. Okay, cool. Let's see what else. So again, like the thing he's missing here is at the top he doesn't have like what he's selling, which I think is a mistake here. Okay, the Christmas sales training is now live and ready for you to watch. In the training, I show you how to create a marketing plan. Log in here to watch the training. Okay, cool. Click that. Okay, salon owner inner circle. Cool. Doesn't tell me how I can get in it, which is unfortunate. Because it shouldn't make your customers try to like work for it. Okay, so he deleted it. I don't know what. Oh, we're here. The price is going up after tomorrow. So get this while you can. Are you struggling to get new customers? Terrified to raise your prices? And boom, there's the member offer. Cool. I click that. Okay. And then, oh, this offer expires in 25 days. There's a video. Here's what you get inside. Yada, 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 yada. And then $27. Join. Click here to join.
Yeah.
Now, I actually think that he could sell this as a coaching program for a lot more money, but he's just taking the easy way out here and just doing for $27. He was actually doing a membership before, which I told him a membership is hard to sell out of the gate. Okay. But notice, yeah, okay, but here's how he changed it. So it's $27 for the first 2 months, then $47 for each month. So it is actually a trial continuity.
Yeah.
This is actually a little weird. Like I have to think about this. $27 for the first 2 months, then $47 each month. Like that's confusing to me. I don't know why he just didn't do like $27 now and $47 each month.
Yeah.
You see that?
Okay.
So you could do exactly that, right? Except like for coaching, like and so instead of basically like a a $27 buy thing. It's just an apply to become a member thing. And then you talk with them on the phone. And then use that cool book that I gave you there.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm getting on I'm clear of what to do. It's
Yeah.
just, so if we go back to the key, as you said, is getting more members.
Yep.
And starting with the benefit in that message. It's like, okay, I know what the problems are from the surveys and from some of the calls I did.
Yep.
So I think I've got fairly clear on that, but it's like, okay, I'm not clear on what the solution is. So what do I give them in the group that I just give and that gets them in the group, and then what do I give that I can sell later on down the line?
Yep. Okay, good. Now we're on the right path here, right? So let me give you an example. So let's say Sarah is listening to this later. As an example for her, right, she's not clear on what the problem she's trying to solve is. Okay, so it's very muddy, vague. What we want to start with is like this. We want to say, okay, there's 10 problems that coaches have. Let's say 10. So we started, look at the doc that we started, right?
Yeah, the blockers doc.
Right, the blockers doc. Let's see if I have that. Purpose of this video here. Let's see. So, okay, if you could open it up, mine's mic being slow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have Daniela's data blockers.
Are you able to see my screen if I open it?
Okay, I got it. Hold on.
You did? Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Okay. Cool. So here's the ideas. Like I just started coming up with ideas, right? Okay. Blockers. Actually, you walk me through this because I'm talking a lot. You walk me through it.
Okay, so what we did to get to this was look at the survey comments and pull those comments into a table, which is further down. And from that, kind of look at what's the underlying problem behind it. And then we create a list from those. Yeah, so here we've got how many times was this particular problem mentioned out of all of my surveys. So that top one was mentioned 3 times. And the blockers were not being clear on the value, or one example was a financial coach. People didn't want to hire a coach for their finances because they were embarrassed, even though they knew it would help them. So we then categorized those and started to look at what's the underlying question and what would help them. So the box on the right-hand side is what are the potential solutions. So from that, we then developed a list of the top 10 or 15 or 20 problems that the market are facing. We had an idea of which ones were more prevalent because they were mentioned more often. And we then kind of, I suppose, reverse engineered that to say if we know what those problems are, we know what sort of products and services they could potentially be interested in.
Yep, perfect. So then what we did is just kind of come up with the questions.
Right.
Right. Like, and I've done this process like so many times now, and I usually start with like just the questions that people have, and just start listing them, right? So these are all potentials for like a newsletter, a blog article, a little video, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So these could be sliced and diced either way. So,
and they're the questions I started answering in the outline for the book. Using Marcin's like 10 questions, answer each one. So I think what the questions are, and I know what the answers to those questions are, or at least some aspect of what the answers are. So the question then comes down to, if I know what the problem is, I've got a good understanding of that, and I know what I could build for them, what do I build out of those that's free to get them in the group? It doesn't give away too much value, and what do I reserve for people that I want to work with in the future?
Yeah, perfect. Good question. So then, so what we do then is plot their journey, right? So they're starting off at point A. They want to get to point Z, right? A to Z. And what our job of our free thing is not to worry so much about giving away anything too much, because really, I mean, there's so much to give, right? So that's not really a real problem. The real thing is, like, how do we get them specifically from A to B, right? From where they're at to their logical next step. And in order to do that effectively, we got to know where they're at right now. Like, what's the current problem that they're trying to address?
Okay.
So let's look through that and see if we can understand, like, what's the main thing. So how do I identify my niche? So it's almost like you want to take these questions and say, what comes first and what comes next, right? So what comes before what? And this is actually a good method of structuring your book as well, right? Because it has got to go through a logical order.
Yeah.
So let's see. How do I identify my niche? How do I get clear on my value for my clients? So what comes first? How do I identify my niche, or how do I get clear on my value for my clients?
I guess it depends.
Yeah, let's see. I think that you get clear on the value for your clients by doing interviews, for example. And then by doing interviews, you find your niche. So I would say how to get clear on your value comes before you find your niche. So then I'll take this and put it over here. How do I find my target market? How do I find my potential clients? How do I get confidence from just starting out? Okay, so what comes first? Where do I find my potential clients? How do I find my target market? Or how do I get confidence if I'm just starting out?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which one is it?
I think they need to understand the value and then find the niche, because once they do that, they'll then have confidence to talk to those people.
Okay, interesting. I would say confidence comes first. So if you open up any book that you have, any business book or self-help book, it always starts, you'll notice, with mindset.
Yeah, agree.
It doesn't start with the action items. It starts with the mindset. So let me give an example. Okay, so I just pulled some books just randomly here. Okay. So, okay, here's a book. How to Be a Badass. Okay. So I'll just open up first chapter. So look at the chapters. See this?
Yeah, my subconscious made me do it. Okay.
What is that?
Yeah, mindset.
Mindset. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, this is E-Myth. Okay, I'm going to look at the table of contents. chapter 1.
Yeah, the entrepreneurial myth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the mistakes. That's basically like, what are the mistakes? Because this book is a solution. It's a problem solver. It's a solution. So he starts off with identifying the problem that this book solves.
Okay.
So so there's a myth. So right away we want to know, what the hell is that myth, right? Okay, cool. So he starts with the myth. Then he says, the entrepreneur, manager, and technician. So he breaks down the 3 types, right? You could do the same thing for coaching, right? It's like you got the hustler, the strategic, you know, and the technician or something like that. Then he breaks into infancy, adolescence beyond comfort zone, a new view of business. That's a mindset shift. A new view of business. Okay, so that's that book. Why Men Marry Bitches, one of my personal favorites.
You're brave now the girls are gone.
I know, now I'm brave. You're right. You're right. Okay, they're gonna watch this on the recording. Throwing out the rule book. Let's see. Why a strong woman wins his heart. So, is that a mindset?
Yeah, because it starts in the mind, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. And then, again, myths. Myths. So notice E-Myth talked about myths. This book talks about myths too. Myth, you have to be perfect. Myth, you have to be a sex toy. Myth, you have to be, I don't know about myth number 2, but myth number 3, you have to be whatever he wants you to be, right? That's way too much fun. All right, let's see, what else? Okay, well, this is obviously going to be a book on mindset, but it's called The Inner Game of Tennis. Okay, but let's see how he breaks this down. He breaks this down into... So what do you see already? What's the trend?
Yeah, the mindset comes first in all of those books.
Yeah, and notice, okay, so here's another book, right? Introduction, Reflections on the Mental Side of Tennis. Okay. The Discovery of the Two Selves.
Yeah.
Quieting Self 1, Trusting Self 2. And notice only by page 45 does he talk about discovering technique. Right, so this is always the case. We could go on and on. Any book I pull off the shelf is going to be...
Yeah, I'm sold.
Sold, right? Okay, cool. So, sold on that. Yeah, so you start with the mindset. So, all that to say, how do I get my confidence starts first if I'm just starting out. Because that question is a question of, like, how do I think about things? How do I think about things?
Okay.
How do I get over my own limiting beliefs and self-sabotage? This is from the document. These are all questions that we got from the group, right?
Yeah.
How do I get over my own limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging procrastination behavior? So that's a whole book in of itself, you know, like, you know. Where do I find efficient people to update my website and help me with rebranding? So what's the need they have there?
Yeah, it sounds like there's like an issue with priorities for them underneath it. Like they could find somebody like an outsourcer that's easy enough, but that person is acknowledging that she wants to be spending her time doing the stuff she's good at.
Mm-hmm.
So if she could find a way to quickly just get somebody that she could outsource and didn't have to spend time managing that person, you know, there's a need there. So if there was a product I created which had scripts of how to deal with outsourcers in different countries, etc., I'd have somebody there who would be interested in that product.
Bingo. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly it. She's actually saying two things. She's saying, one, I would like... It's almost like you turn each question into a, like, I would like. right?
Okay. Yeah.
So let's see if we could do that. So where do I find efficient people to update my website and help me with rebranding?
Right. I would like to find efficient people to help me with my website and rebranding.
I would like to find, I'm just going to type this, I would like to find efficient people to update my website and help me with rebranding.
Yeah.
Share this. Because I just want to show you like how deep we could go here with just this one sentence. So I would like to find efficient. You see the screen?
Yeah.
Cool. I would like to find efficient people to update my website and help me with rebranding. Okay, let's see if we can go deeper. What is efficient?
Hassle-free for that person.
Okay, so I would like to find a person to update my website for me.
Yeah.
I would like to find a person that can brand me better.
Yeah.
And we could say, where can I find a person who can handle all of my website needs?
Yeah. Probably two different people, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But she doesn't know that at the moment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where can I find who can handle my person? So,
How do I engage with them? How do I know if they're any good? They're not going to rip me off.
how do I know that they are good and they won't rip me off?
They would probably then ask, what do I do about giving passwords to my site to these people, and the site security?
So we
How
can
do I
just
pay
say,
them? All kinds of questions.
right. How do I pay them? Right. So you could see how do I
Yeah, we
pay?
could build out a whole product almost.
Yes, exactly, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's really like that's what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah.
Is that each one of these questions is almost like its own little mini product, right?
Okay.
So imagine if, let's say your mini product was, a 20-page or 15-page little thing, right? Like, where do I find a person to update my website? Questions you should ask questions you should ask yourself before making your website, questions you should ask your designer before making a website. The difference between a designer and a web developer. Why you should never hire a designer and web developer who are the same person. How to save money on getting your website. How to know how much you should pay for a website.
Okay.
Right?
Right. So I'm clear then in terms of like I've got the list of questions.
Yep.
I can see in my mind the whole thing of how to create it and what to create it and the fulfillment and all of that's fine. I guess if I want to increase the membership of my group, that's the benefit, right? Like if you join the group, I'll send you this once you fill in the request, or like what's the hook, the tripwire to get them in the group?
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, so, okay, good. So that's the right question then. So now we got to think, what's who the ideal person is, right? So let's start with who the not ideal person is. Well, actually, let's be open to it. I don't know. So far, what I've seen in your group so far is they seem to be, I would say, life coaches in the beginning phase of their life coaching business, right?
For sure.
So how many clients do they have now on average would be a good thing to know.
Yeah.
how many do they have?
When we asked the post, there's too many questions, so I didn't get a response. But based on the people I've spoke to, I would be surprised if they've got more than one at the most. Like they're going from 0 to 2.
Okay.
In the main.
Okay, so what we got to figure out is like who's the person you want to target, right? So you start with the fish, and then we say, okay, well that's that type of fish. This is the type of bait that would work for that type of fish.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And I've got an idea who, like, there's 2 people in the group who are more established.
Let me show you this on the other book. Hold on one second. Okay, so obviously I can't find the book that I need, but there's this book I have called Models, right? And in that book, it talks about like how to be honest with women. And one of the things he says in there is like, okay, a lot of the mistakes that other people make, other trainings and books make, is they assume that all guys want a same type of girl. And he says one of the things you should start with is asking yourself, what kind of girl do you really want? And I said, oh, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that fucking question, right? It's like, okay, well, I had like a vague idea, and then he said, well, where would she hang out?
All right. And
where would she not hang out? I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't even think about that. like I've been hanging out where the girl that I like wouldn't hang out. No wonder it's not working, right? So, yeah. I mean, is coaches who have 0 clients the best candidates for help?
No. And there's 2 coaches in the group who are more successful. They've obviously got the means to purchase rather than somebody else.
Yeah.
I guess the problem is, I wonder, I need to test this, is where would they hang out and where would they not? It seems like in the groups on Facebook, you tend to get more of the people who don't have the clients and they're just getting started, rather than the more established people.
So, I mean, here's the thing. Like, the thing is, like, there's nothing. Actually, like, I think beginners in a market is a good starting point because it allows you, if you can get someone in the beginning phase, then you could build out a whole product line to help them in each phase. Because if you break down what's the segment of the market, I mean, most of the segment of the market is going to be beginners, obviously, in any market.
Yeah.
Now, that's good for products, but it's bad for coaching. I think. My personal opinion is bad for coaching. Because somebody with just like reasonable intelligence and like reasonable like wanting should have some clients.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, they're just excuse makers. There's no other like logical explanation there. So for products, I think it's good. For coaching, there's going to be a problem because ROI for them it's going to be hard to show ROI. If somebody's already got 5 and people are paying them $1,000 a month, cool. If we get them another 5, that's another $5,000 a month. Makes sense. So then the question becomes which people do we want to target? Do we want to target the newbies? And then that's fine if you want to create little products and then ultimately lead to coaching. But if you want to just start with coaching, then you want to find people that are already at some kind of level. They're not at the level they want to be at, but the ROI for them is going to be there.
Right. I suppose those people who are further along, they don't need to worry about track record credibility because it's the marketing piece that they need help with rather than what marketing I've done with coaches, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they're asking different questions, right? At each point in your business, you're asking different questions. Like in starting out, you're like, how do I find my target market? How do I get leads? But I'm confused about my target market, so I don't know how to get leads. It's like a circle. It's like I don't know how to get leads. I don't know target leads, target. Okay. But somebody who's already got their target, they're like, I got my target. I don't know where to find them. And then the next phase is like, okay, I got my target. I know where to find them. But I'm getting leads, but they're not converting into sales. So I have a sales challenge there. So just think about like where your point of impact is. Where if somebody came to you, like you ever play tennis?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's a point on the racket where it's just like you hit that ball and it's just like it just makes that right sound. Whoosh, and it just it just flies across. But it's like in that center of the racket. Anywhere else and it doesn't go like that.
Yeah. I think I know where that is.
Yeah.
In terms of like what resonates when I'm on the calls with people.
Yeah.
All the things I share with them, like, okay, so this is the problem. Here's how I could help you fix it. It's the strategic, working backwards from their earnings goal to like a daily action or something.
Yeah.
That seems to be the point where they're like, yeah, and they get fired up, and I could probably get some sales from that. Is that what you meant by the point of the racket? Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's the thing. It's what Dan Sullivan calls your unique ability, right? So the thing that you're best at, the thing that you're like best at, God's gifts, whatever, and talent and skill. It's like where all those three kind of whoosh, that's the center.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like that's your gift.
Yeah. Okay.
So who would benefit most from that? Like not a newbie. I mean.
Yeah, that's right, because I'm going to need somebody who's got the resources to put that plan in place almost.
Yeah. So then the next question becomes, what's the question that a person who has that is asking themselves that they're trying to find the answer to?
Yeah. Okay.
And that would be your free thing.
Right, got it. Cool.
Is this making sense, or is this just like blah, blah, blah?
No, perfectly. That last point in terms of who would benefit most, once I understand what my point of impact is, I had a clear person in mind as well as like where he fits in the whole thing. Yeah. He's the guy that's more advanced. He's been on TV. He's got 2 books.
Yep.
He does it full time. And he was like, he was the guy who said, when I get them on a free call, I have a 90% conversion rate to sales. I just don't know how to get more of the free calls booked.
Aha.
And we did a strategy call with him, but this was before I was trying to pitch anything. It was the whole, I just want to get on a call to find out your problems.
Yeah.
But he's a buyer already for my magazine.
Okay.
So it's quite a good lead. But yeah, it makes sense in terms of I know quite well what that question is he's asking, that next question, so I could create something that solves that. I guess it's then like I can solve it in the product and I can help him map out a plan, and then do I then go into, do you want me to help you implement that as the close for any coaching further down the line?
Yeah. I mean, in terms, like you're asking, like what's the sales process? So
I'm like, from this free thing, what's the next steps to signing him up to coaching further down the line?
Okay. So then, there's like phases, so if you open up the Spin Selling book, right? Like they break it down into whatever model they use there. What is it? Introductions. I don't have the book here. It's in my garage, but like,
This one.
yeah. So spin, right? Okay, yeah. Those are the situational problem, implications, needs, payoffs. But there's also that's the model for the questions, but there's also a model for the phases of the sale.
Right. Yeah.
Qualifying something, introductions, demonstration, right?
Okay.
Got into that part yet or no?
No. I've only 70 pages so far.
Okay, cool. But the point is, it's like there's different phases to the sale. So like there's qualification, like is this person qualified to buy? Do they have a need that we could say is that we could turn it into monetize the problem. Can we monetize the problem, right? So when I say qualification, it's not like how much money he has per se, although that's important, but like, is he willing to pay to solve this problem? Is there a money leak here?
Yeah.
Is there a phase where money's being leaked out? You know, an example, somebody's doing one-on-one coaching, right? Somebody's doing one-on-one coaching. Well, I mean, there's obvious problems with that, right? They're spending a lot of time for dollars. They're not being leveraged. It's not being recorded. There's no long-term value from it. Once they stop doing it, they can't. There's a cap on how many people they can work with, right? And they're just trading their time, so they have no time freedom.
Okay. Yeah.
So with a person like that, if they're already good at selling one-on-one, it would be a very easy thing to show them the group method and to create little products, right? That wouldn't be too complicated because they kind of already have their email list. Another thing would be like somebody who has an email list but doesn't have a Facebook group. Okay, they could send out one email, and if they have even a decent sized list, just like 500 people, whatever, small list, then they can engage with their community and they can figure out what kind of product they need to create. Right? So all these things is just like leverage points. If somebody has we have like 7 things, right? If they have 1 or 2, then we could leverage those 1 or 2 to give them the other 7.
Okay.
But if they start with 0, it's like we're building their whole fucking business. We'll find you the need. We'll find you the target market. We'll get you the lead. It's like, why do we need you? Let's do it for ourselves.
So, am I understanding right then that person, this like ideal person, and we qualify what's that question they're asking?
Yeah.
That answer is the product. That's like there could be 4 or 5 different things as part of the solution to that answer.
Yes.
And you give one of them away free.
Yes.
And then you monetize the others, right?
Yes, exactly. You give the first thing.
Okay, now I'm clear.
The first thing in the dating market, what I saw they did was, okay, so let's say somebody's like shy, they want to go to like from shy, know the girls to like, okay, bunch of girls. So what's the first step? Well, you got to know what to say. So if we gave you exactly what to say and a little test, right? And you went out there and you used that thing and somebody you got a response, then wow, you're like, okay, wow, that worked. What's next? So what we want is we want that. We want the reaction we want from the free thing is like, wow, that worked. What's next?
Okay.
That would be the ideal situation.
So that then says to me, you make the free thing something that's easy to implement It's
Yes.
easy for them to get results.
Yes.
Then you get testimonials,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah.
Right.
In the ideal situation, the free thing is instantly implementable.
Okay. Right. So, like, Derek Halpin, he did like the email opt-in boxes that you like click and it installs it.
Yeah.
And now we've got horizontal boxes and things like that.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
want the instant consumable. Instant consumable. The thing I could do right now to get me a result. What David D'Angelo did was like a kiss test. You ever hear this one? He's
I've heard
like,
of D'Angelo, but not the test.
he's like, I'm gonna show you. He's like, in this video, I'm gonna show you, or in this free report, I'm gonna show you like the secret way that to know whether a girl is ready to be kissed, because he identified that like I don't know, like I'm with the girl, I don't know when she's ready to be kissed. I don't know. I don't know. He's like, okay, listen, I know you're at this phase. I'm gonna show you the one key method that will tell you when a girl is instantly ready to be kissed. Would you like to know this method? Okay. So he said, okay, so you're sitting with her, and then if you can touch her hair when she's with you, and she lets you do that, and she's okay with that, then she's ready to be kissed. And that's the method.
Okay, simple.
Simple. Right? Brilliant. Brilliant, simple, and brilliant, and it works. Right? So it's
Yeah.
all, yes. And so now I do that all the time. Ever since I learned it a long time ago. But that's just one thing. There's another thing which like you could look at pupils, like if they get dilated. Okay. But all these little like there's that one little thing. So you got to find what that little thing is. That could be a script that they could use to do one-on-one calls, where you give them the script.
Yeah.
That could be a questions to ask people when you talk with them if they're having a hard time closing, or basically we have to start with like what's the number one challenge that they're trying to solve right now. You could actually ask them that question, like I asked Saren. When you wake up, what do you think about in terms of work? What are you worried about? Because guess what? People wake up every day, have the same thought as yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day. Tomorrow, they're going to have that same thought again. But they think it's like a new thought. It's the same thought.
Yeah.
How do I get customers?
Okay. Cool. I can do that.
Does it help?
Yeah. Definitely. I can do that. So I guess the last question I have then is getting people into the group,
Yeah.
new people from outside. In terms of like, well, who are you, etc. That's fine. I can figure that one out. But it's the what's in it for me.
Yeah.
Do I just tell them, oh, inside there's free products that does this, or this, or like how do I refine that pitch?
I'm going to send you the one that Sean's been using, just the exact script,
Okay.
word for word. Or didn't he post that? Didn't he post it in the group?
Who's that?
Sean?
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay. So I would use his, because his is working. Let's see if we can get it, and then we'll wrap up. Is it there?
Just trying to find it. I just searched Sean. Yeah, okay. I've got it here. So he says, I just noticed your comment in the name of this group, where the group name is. I'm looking for the right person to help out. I'm putting together a program based on my experience of owning a salon and getting the stylist busy. If you have a few minutes, would you mind answering some questions on my survey page for how I can make the program as useful as possible? I also have a private Facebook group where we share ideas on what's working best for getting clients using social media. So the only reason I deviated from that was because getting people to fill out the survey was a little bit slow. So we were like, we just need to fill the group with people even if we don't survey them.
Yep. So then, good. So then shorten it down. Just put like, if you would like access, put your, here's a form. Just put your name and email, and I'll give you access to an ad, or so on and so forth.
Okay.
Because you could always get them to fill out the questions later as well, right?
Well, that's what I'm thinking once I've kind of built more of a relationship.
Yeah.
But I guess they're still going to ask, like, what's the benefit to them?
No, they'll fill it out.
You think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at, just look at always look at the evidence, right? Like, what's the evidence procedure, So I would say do that and make sure that process is working, and then you can make a video and get somebody else to do it. But for now, I would just try to make sure it's working. Because look, like right now, Sean's got people, like new people being added. They got people tagging new other people, like people referring other people to the group. Why? Because there's value in the group. So there's this theory on like what makes a network useful. I forget exactly like what the name of the theory is, but basically it's like the basic idea is that the more nodes are in a network, the more valuable the network is.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's like obvious. It's like, okay, well, how valuable is the internet with like 20 people? Not that valuable. You put millions of people on the internet, okay, yeah, it's a fucking valuable thing, this whole internet thing. So your group value it isn't really like with you. It's with them. It's you. You're like the provider. You're like the internet provider, and they got the computers. So your value of the group is actually going to come from the group members themselves.
Yeah.
And when that happens, like a very interesting thing happens, which is like, oh, but they associate you with that value.
Okay.
You brought them together, right? So your goal really is just to like focus just on like adding the people in and making sure that you delete any stupid people.
Yeah. That's already happened this week.
And it's very, very important. Like, you got to be ruthless on that. This is a lesson I learned the hard way. But you got to be ruthless on that because, one, it shows that you don't fuck around, and two, it shows that you value only high members. 3, it shows that you have rules. People break rules, they get deleted. 4, it shows you like that being a member is a privilege, not a right, and they should follow the rules and not be a douchery. And it's just like it sets up the right context.
Okay. Cool. So I'll use Sean's method, and then I'll test it, see if I can get higher than 7%.
Yep. I honestly believe that if you get, if you just work out the numbers, right? Like, okay, let's say 5 people per day, right? Something small. 5 people per day, 25 people per week. In 4 weeks, you got 100 people. In 2 months, you got 200 people. You're in business now.
Yeah.
Like you have you can have a continuity program, and I actually think it could be done a lot faster than that. But the benefits are like you get to sell things, they tell you what they want, you create that thing, you do it via a live training that they pay more for than a recorded, and I'll show you that later. But you know, like in each one of those is a little program. Boop, 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 boop. Now you got your stack of programs. So let's say you created 2 programs per month, Whittle programs, you know, and let's say those were $100 each. So 2 programs per month, that's $200. Rather than them purchasing their programs, you roll out a monthly. You say, look, you know, I've been creating these 2 programs per month for the last month, and now I have 4 programs. Each one's valued at $100. That's $400. I'm going to give you access to all 4 programs if you sign up for my inner circle, $97 a month. You see? That's how you build the value.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be like this big product. It's just like you're solving a need. Cool. You're trying to find, I mean, if we just got people, if you just said, okay, I'm trying to find how to find a web developer that's good. That's easy. I could show somebody how to do that in an hour and a half, right? I don't even have to prepare for that one. I could just brainstorm it out and like, okay, they need to have an application. They need to fill out, like, they need to get people to apply. This is how we collect name and emails. Here's a form. This is how you make a video. Use Jing, Camtasia, or ScreenFlow. This is a sample video. Here's me talking. I include the sample video. It wouldn't be hard to create.
No.
Because you're dealing with somebody who's just brand new. They don't know how to do it. They don't know the difference between Odesk or Elance or da-da-da. I would cover mistakes to avoid. You could crank that thing out in an hour and a half.
Yeah. Agree.
You got a product, you say, hey, cool, that's the introductory product. If you're on the live training, it's $50 or $100, okay? If you want the recorded and the templates and the, you know, the other scripts that I include, you know, that's, you can get it by this day for $100, right? Then the price goes up, okay?
Yeah.
If you're not on the live training, because then you want the recording, that's more work, right? That's $150. Okay, you could be on the live training for $100. You could get the recording for $150. Now they're on the live training. Fantastic. Now you've got paid to create a training. Then you ask them, what else do you want? In 2 weeks, you create the next one. Just like that.
Okay.
Can you see it?
I do. It's giving me, like, I can see further down the line almost, like this one, and then
Yeah.
those individual little blocks can become the bigger program, like the framework for the coaching almost.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That becomes the framework for the coaching. Like, you have this little one, you have this little one, this little, this one. What the coaching does is it makes all of them work together.
Yeah. They're like the modules almost, aren't they?
Yeah.
The individual products.
Yeah, the individual products become the modules. Exactly. Boom. And then you have a type program.
Yeah. Okay, it's all falling into place.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
And all that relies on one thing: getting the people in. You need to increase the size of the network. Increase the size of the network, the value of the network goes up, and then you have more leads. You could also, have you done Facebook ads before?
Yeah, I've done it for myself and for a client before.
Okay, so then the other way to get leads would be to run a Facebook ad that says, like, hey, like, essentially the same thing. Like, I'm creating a new program looking for beta members for this program for coaches. Answer a few questions, you'll get access to the Facebook community, and my top 10 mistakes that most coaches make when it comes to pricing their services or packaging their services.
Got it. Yeah, lead magnet.
Yep.
Okay. There's a Facebook ads module in the course, right?
Yeah.
Just refresh, make sure, learn something new maybe.
Yep, definitely.
Cool. Okay. I think I'm going to do those two things first, probably outsource the comment not the commenting, the adding people from the comments,
Yeah.
like straight away. And then if I can do anything on top, then great. But if not, it's just happening without me. Because it's low value activity, really, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's not. It is if you're learning about what response you're getting, but if you already know what response works, like I think Sean's response works, because I helped them craft that response. So, and I've kind of like used a basic version of some version of that before. So that version works. So a high leverage activity would be to put that process into place. And say, okay, well, how could I not have to do this, right? Could I pay someone? How much could I pay them? Such that they could add value to, add members to the group. So I guess the explanation there is like, if you got more time than money, then you do the time thing. If you got more money than time, then pay someone to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Crystal clear.
Cool. Sweet. All right. Good time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to spend a little extra time with you because I wanted to really like make sure like you get like super clear exactly what to do, exactly where you're at, what you need to do.
Yeah.
So, any questions?
No, I don't think so. I've got like 4 pages of notes, so I'm going to go through those. Just take a look at the actions, but for me the actions are clear. Really outsource straight away. Adding the members from the comments, and then go back through the blockers document, look at some of those problems, see what would be an attractive lead magnet to put on the Facebook ads, and then just run some ads and test it, and just set a budget and test it and tweak it as we go.
Yep, you'll get people from that as well. Like you'll get people applying.
So I think I'm clear. I've got my actions that are clear for the rest of the week. So I'll check in Friday, let you know how it's going.
Cool. Last thing I want to tell you is like what I think your value is, like your strategy guy, your accountability, like strategy. Like, so see if you could think about like how you could do that, like,
Yeah, I kind of came to that same realization because that's what resonated with people when I was laying out that strategy and then helping them move towards it. So for me, it feels like teaching them the marketing, like to get people to come to them.
Yeah.
And then further down the line, teach them how to turn that into, using sales, turn that into income.
Yep.
Because I don't want to implement for people.
No.
Because I want to just do the strategy. That's like my leverage point.
Yes. The only way you could implement for people, like I'm doing some implementation for Daniela, but the way that you could implement, the only way that you should do it is where you have somebody pays you for coaching, and then they, let's say it's a higher version of coaching, like I'm working with her one-on-one for the last like 3 months, so it's about to come to an end here soon, but then the implementation at the highest level, because then they understand what's involved. It's complex, that there's a lot of pieces. They don't think it's like, oh, this is a 5-minute job. I can't pay you that much for a 5-minute job. I'm like, dude, it's not a 5-minute job. It's a 5-week job.
Okay. Yeah, and then I guess when I get to that, I can outsource the bits that aren't my strong points, and then you do the bits that are my strong points.
Yep, exactly. You bring it together.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, very good. So I'll let you jet.
Cool.
Go grab
Thank you very much.
lunch. Thank you. And keep me posted.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, cool.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Bye.